Om Sadashiva-Samarambha Shankaracharya-Madhyama Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Lankayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam. So we were looking at the verses which were talking about karma, because Bhagavan wants to teach Arjuna about the nature of karma itself. And in fact, he gives a very big introduction there saying that even kavayaha api mohitaha, he says, even those who are considered to be knowledgeable people, they are all confused with reference to karma. And then he even says that you have to know what is karma or action, what is vikarma or what is prohibited action. So what is mandated action, what is prohibited action, and akarma means you can say actionlessness, like that we can take. And what is really actionlessness? These three one has to know properly, bodhavyam, he says. And if you know that, what will happen? He says, if you know that, you are a buddhiman, you are a wise person, you are a jnani. In fact, already in the second chapter also, he gave one lakshana for jnani, correct? Saying that na sato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha. So the one who knows that that which is existent can never become non-existent, that which is non-existent can never come into existence. If the one who knows these two is a tattvadarshi, like that, he gave one definition or one characteristic of jnani. Here he gives it with reference to karma. But even this, that Atma is an akarta, is not something new which is being taught in the fourth chapter. Understand that. It was already said in the second chapter itself that Atma is achintyaha, avikaryaha and all that, correct? Avyaktoyam, achintyoyam, avikaryoyam uchyate. Means avikaraha means what? That which does not undergo any change. And again, if something does not undergo any change, it cannot do anything, correct? There cannot be any possibility of any action. So the very nature of Atma is that it is actionlessness only is the very nature of Atma. Or it is explicitly also he said, Veda vinashinam nityam enamajam avyayam katham sapurusha partha kamdhatayati hantikam. In that particular verse, in fact, Bhagavan talks about this Atma as neither a killer nor it can be killed. It's neither an agent of action nor an object of action. It cannot be an object of action. In fact, normally when we talk about action, even in grammatically, if you see, correct, because every sentence has to have a verb. And the verb means it is action. In fact, the entire sentence in our analysis in Samskrita Vyakaranam revolves around the verb. Because there is a verb, Kriya Padam, it is called. Then all the nouns are all called Karaka, means factors which aid in the action being committed. Okay, whatever the action is happening, what are the factors which are aiding that action so that it can happen? That is called Karaka. Okay, and in that the first Karaka is what is called Prathama Karaka or Prathama Vibhakti, like that. It's there in Tamil also, or most Indian languages also are like that. But Hindi is not like that. Okay, that's a problem with Hindi. In Tamil also we have this Prathama Vibhakti is there. Why? Because suppose in Sanskritam you say Ramaha Lakshmanam Pashyati. Correct? Ramaha Lakshmanam Pashyati means what? Raman Lakshmananai Parthan in Tamil. In English and Hindi are different, okay? Ram ne Lakshman ko dekha, like that you have to say. Or in English also, Ram saw Lakshmana. Okay. Now, in this Rama is the agent, correct? always agent is coming in Prathama Vibhakti. Means it will have Ramaha is the ending, correct? In Tamil also it should be Raman. From the noun only, in languages like Tamil and Sanskritam, we know what Karaka it is. Unfortunately, in Hindi and English, it is not like that. Hindi and English are dependent on the position of the noun in the sentence also additionally. Sanskritam, Tamil and many other English languages are very beautiful for poem and all that, because you can place the words anywhere in the sentence, the meaning will not change. But in Hindi, if you say Lakshman ne Ram ko dekha, means the meaning is gone. Correct? Ram ne Lakshman ko dekha is one meaning. Lakshman ne Ram ko dekha means gone. Or Lakshmana saw Rama also is gone. In English also it is a problem. But in Tamil it's never a problem. In Sanskritam it is never a problem. I can say Parthan Raman Lakshmananai. Lakshmananai Parthan Raman. Lakshmananai Raman Parthan Raman Lakshman. Whichever permutation combination you put, meaning will not change. Okay, that's the same in Sanskritam also. But anyway, in all languages, this concept of Karaka is there still. Although what Karaka it is in some languages depends on the position, like I told. In other languages, it is simply the ending itself. There is a suffix which brings in the meaning of the particular Karaka. In that, the most important Karaka is the agent itself, the Karta, it is called. Then the next one is for transitive verbs, there is also a karma, correct? The object of the action. That is the Vidya Vibhakti in Sanskritam. Then you have the means of doing, correct? Ramaha Chakshusha Lakshmanam Pashyati, let us say. He saw with his eyes. Or Upanetrena means he saw with his spectacles. Whatever, like that you can say. So there is an instrument of seeing. That is the third case we see. Okay, that will become Ramena or whatever, or Chakshusha we say. That is the third case, correct? In passive voice, of course, the third case will become the agent. The agent is only Prathama Vibhakti in the active voice. Okay, there is a Karmani Prayoga also. In the Karmani Prayoga, the Karma will become Prathama Vibhakti. The agent will become the Tritiya. That is also there, just to give you an idea. So don't come and tell me always the Karta is not Prathama and all that. The assumption is that is active voice. Then why did he see? For what purpose did he see? Something like that, if you ask, means then, of course, in the case of seeing, we cannot say, let us say Ramaha Vanam Gachati. Rama went to the forest. Why? Pitra Vakya Paripalanaya, you can say, because to keep up the word given by his father, for the purpose of keeping up. So for the purpose of and all that will be always fourth case. And also in generally, Namaha also, to whomever you are doing Namaskara, that person will always be in fourth case. That means all your Ashtotras, Sahasranama and all always have fourth case only. Even the japa you do any mantra, Namah Shivaya means Shivaya is fourth case. So the word Namaha, Swadha and all these things also, that noun which is associated with that will go into the fourth case. That is called Sampradhanam in Sanskritam. Then from where did he live? Means Ayodhya is the place, means Ayodhya you can say. From Ayodhya, Rama left to the forest. So from, normally in English, it is called Upadhanam. From also can be the cause. For example, something is born from, correct? Means in that sense, it is the source. Always the source of the action or even the source of the result of action is put in the fifth case. It is called Upadhanam. Then where did the action happen? Means he walked on the road or something, we have to say, correct? So if you say like that, that is location, locative. The seventh case is location. So like this, these are all karakas. So in any action, all these karakas are involved. Now if you take these karakas only, then with reference to action also, whenever I say I did something, means the agent is myself. I take myself as the agent. means basically the agency I am superimposing on Atma itself. When I say I am doing something, or I am walking, I am talking, I am teaching, etc. And then of course the other karakas are also there. So generally the body mind sense complex only is taken as the agent. Okay. But even though the body mind sense complex is really the agent, the agency is superimposed on the Atma, the I. This is where the problem is. Bhagavan wants to actually remove this confusion only in Arjuna. Like I said, he already talked about it. It's nothing new. He already said Atma is neither a killer nor, in fact, Atma is none of these karakas. That will come again later also. Brahma, Panam, Brahma, Havihi. Every day we chant before eating, correct? That is only Karaka Upamardhanam, it is called, where it is shown that all Karakas are Brahman, but Brahman is none of the Karakas. That's what we have to understand. There is an inequality there also. I'll talk about it actually. So this action itself is dependent on different Karakas, and the agency, the ego is taken as the agent. Typically, the ego is there, that is the agent, but that ego itself is taken as Atma. And that is the confusion which Bhagavan wants to remove from Arjuna again. So he is teaching. In fact, Bhashyakara even mentions this, that why should Bhagavan again teach this? Because this topic is subtle, and even the Kavis are all themselves, even very intelligent people are all confused with reference to this. Therefore, Bhagavan is again teaching this particular. In fact, he will again teach later on also. If you go to the 5th chapter, Naiva Kinchit Karomiti Yukto Manyeta Tattvavid, there he gives even specifically Pashyan, Shrinvan, Sprishan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Shwapan, Shwasan, Pralapan, Visrijan, Grinhan, Unmishan, Nimishan, Napi, Indriyani, Indriyartheshu, Vartantaiti Dharayan, Brahmanyadhaya Karmani, Sangam Tektva Karoti Yaha, Lipyatena Sapapena, Padmapatram Ivambhasa. Like this, there is a, I think 2 or 3 verses are there, where there Bhagavan clearly says, Naiva Kinsit Karomi. What is the vision of the Jnani? I don't do anything in reality. Even though I am Pashyan, seeing, Pashyan, Shrinvan, even though I am hearing, I am not hearing, Sprishan, Jigran, I touch, but I don't touch, I smell, but I really don't smell anything. So all these activities Bhagavan is listing, Pashyan, Shrinvan, Sprishan, Jigran, with reference to each and every Indriya, even Karmendriya also. Okay, up to the closing and opening the eyes also he says, Unmishan, Nimishan, Napi. Okay, all the bodily activities, whether it is Jnanendriya activity or Karmendriya activity, he lists all that and then says, Indriyan, Indriyartheshu Vartante. Only it's all what Indriyas are acting upon Indriya Vishaya. Okay, Indriyarthas. Atma is not involved in any of these things. That is the vision of the Jnani, and such a Jnani, even though you think that Jnani is involved in a lot of action, that Jnani does not accrue any karma. Correct? Like even the lotus leaf, even though it is sitting in the water, it's not touched by the water. That is the analogy is Padma Patram Iva Ambhasa. Like that, this teaching will again come. Even up to 18th chapter, it keeps on coming. That is because in Vedanta, Punarukti is not a dosha. Understand that. I also have to tell you this because even though I am conducting a Gita class, Upanishad class, and some Prakarana Grantha and all that, in everything the same thing, the topic is the same. So there will be some repetition across classes also, but that is desirable only. Understand that. That is required in fact, because even after telling many times, it goes over the head. So that's why that's not a problem here. Anyway, so the what Bhagavan actually teaches in the Karmani Akarmayah Pashyet is the actual teaching. And Akarmani cha Karmayaha. So one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is a Buddhiman, he says. So now That is the most important teaching here. In the 4th chapter itself, this is one of the most important verses. That's why I wanted to spend some more time on that today. Now here the Purva Pakshi or anybody can say, how can somebody see action in inaction or inaction in action? This is contradictory, it is nonsensical. Are you saying that if I am running in the morning, no, he is not running, he is standing still? Is that the meaning of that? Like that even Shankara also asked this. Then he says, no, that is not the intention of Bhagavan. In fact, in a particular adhikarana or a place, if some action is happening, nobody can say there is inaction there, correct? Or in a particular, or even the inaction itself is absence of action only. It cannot be there in any adhikarana like that. Absence is not a real thing to be there somewhere, correct? Only the adhikarana alone is there. Even if you say there is inaction on some place, really what we are meaning is only that place alone is there. Because absence is not something, absence can be anywhere. So like that, that is not meant here. This saptami, correct? Karmani is not a locative saptami, but saptami can also be used in Sanskritam for with reference to or the subject matter and in that sense. So here, this saptami of karmani akarma or akarmani karma, both the saptami are with reference to, we have to understand. It is with reference to karma. Whoever sees akarma with reference to karma. In karma means there with reference to karma. Means why Bhagavan has to say this? Because Bhagavan cannot say something contradictory. So Shankara says that is because there is delusion among the general people. Even in Vyavahara, people see akarma in karma and karma in akarma. And he gives beautiful analogies for that. One analogy he gives is like our train and all that, correct? Or even he in fact gives the analogy of a boat, I think. So if a boat is going in a water body and a tree is standing, when you are looking from the boat, it looks like the tree is moving in the opposite direction, correct? So Shankara says people, wherever there is akarma, like the tree is only standing, it's not doing any action, but people superimpose activity there and think that it is going in the opposite direction. So that kind of a mistake is possible. There is an erroneous cognition. That's why Bhagavan has to say like this. It's not that Bhagavan is giving some contradictory teaching or anything. He is only correcting the error which people are already having. Similarly, Shankara also says if some object is at a very large distance, even though it is moving, it looks like stationary, correct? Like even the stars and all that. Stars are all really moving, but we think they are stationary stars. So that also is a mistake. Wherever there is action, you can still, even the Laukika Vyavahara itself, these kinds of mistakes are possible. But particularly what Bhagavan is addressing here is with reference to the Atma. But so what is that? Because with reference to the Atma, we take the Atma as an agent. I am a doer. No, that is the mistake. So wherever people see oneself as a doer, the jnani sees there as I am not a doer. Because the actionlessness can be in two ways. Actionlessness means you think that if somebody does not do anything and they are just sitting, it is actionlessness. But that is not actionlessness according to Bhagavan. Bhagavan says only if you are an akarta, there can truly be actionlessness, correct? That I am not even a karta. That is the only way you can have actionlessness. Otherwise, even sitting still also is a big action, correct? As I told you already, it's not an easy thing. If I ask you to sit still for the whole day, you cannot do that. Because it is with lot of willpower, you have to achieve that also. That also becomes a great action, in fact, for you. So just sitting still and all is not actionlessness. The real actionlessness is even when action is happening, you see that I am akarta. Okay, this is the only way we can understand. So the jnani sees akartritvam wherever there is kartritvam. Similarly, by saying I am the doer, the ajnanis actually take the kartritvam from the karyakarna sangata and superimpose it on themselves, correct? Actually, who is the karta? The kartritvam is there in only the body mind sense complex. It is all guna guneshu arthante, like that also Bhagavan will say later. The activities are happening only amongst the gunas themselves. But wherever there is kartritvam, that you have made into akarta, and that kartritvam you have taken and appropriated to yourself. That is also a mistake. So you have to see Atma as akarta, and wherever kartritvam is actually there, where you are not seeing the kartritvam now, there you have to see the karma. Correct? In akarmani, you have to see the karma. And in karmani, where you think that you are doing, there you have to see that I am akarta, abhokta. But I am akarta because I am also abhokta because I am not interested in any enjoyment or any karma phala or anything else. Jnani also sees that aham akarta abhokta. That is also very important. So the one who sees this alone is Brahmajnani. He is a buddhiman, and for him everything is as though already accomplished. So why Bhagavan is saying that Krishna karma krit is to point out that Jnani is an abhokta. Because Jnani does not have to enjoy anything or have a craving for anything else. Cannot have a craving for anything because Jnani has as though fulfilled everything that needs to be accomplished or fulfilled. So Jnani is neither a bhokta nor a karta. So both of that comes in that particular verse, and that is the crucial verse here. We already saw that. In fact, Bhashyakara also addresses some Purva Paksha from the Purva Mimamsakas there, but I don't want to go into that detail because that is not very relevant to us now. But maybe in some other class we can have that. Now we also saw the next verse, I think. Yasya sarve samarambaha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddhaha. So here also the for one for whom all the karmas have been burnt by jnana. And what is this jnana? Aham akarta. Because if you are not even a karta, none of the karma, whether it is sanchita karma, prarabdha karma or agami karma, I told you, correct? All accumulated karma is sanchita karma, and whatever karma has started this body is the prarabdha karma, and whatever karma which may fructify later, because you are still accumulating karma in this life, all that is gone. In fact, a jnani does not accumulate any more karma. Okay. So that person is he is called panditam. Tam panditam buddhaha ahuhu. So even the whoever is already a jnani, they all call this person as a pandita because he is the one who knows himself as akarta, and whatever, even though he may be engaged in some activity, but that engagement is not due to any sankalpa that I have to achieve this and achieve this particular karma phala or anything like that. Okay. And it's not due to any desire or any particular expectation of results. So that is how one can still be engaged in action, knowing that one is an akarta. That is the point which will come for the next few verses also. Bhagavan is going to talk about that only, because what is the kind of lifestyle a jnani who sees himself as an akarta still has? Because the jnani is still having a body. If you say upon knowledge the body itself should vanish, means then there won't be any jnanis to teach you also. So we do the Vedantins, we accept Jivan Mukta, means Jivan Neva Muktaha, one who is free even while living. Only such persons are gurus, they still teach. Teaching also is an action. So, but when the teaching is happening also, the guru does not think that I am a doer. Understand that? That is the important thing. All action, it may be happening. Okay? It's not that action does not happen or the jnani does not do anything. That's not the point in saying that, akarta. Even when the action is happening, there is no action. Like even Bhagavan said already, correct? Tasya kartaram apimam Vidya kartaram avyayam. That is the same thing. Because here only that inequality you have to understand. I want to point this out because this can be somewhat confusing sometimes. So the best analogy for this with Pujya Swamiji used to give is the beggar and the actor. Okay. What is that? An actor who is a millionaire is playing the role of a beggar. Okay. Let us say. Then he is crying and he has seen many beggars and he has taken all their behavior and all that, and he is doing a wonderful job of acting, correct? But while begging also, he is not really begging. He doesn't take himself as a beggar. Even while he is begging and he is showing so much whatever affliction and all that difficulty, internally he is happy because he is getting applause. The crowd is applauding, saying that, aha, this guy is acting so well as a beggar. Then he himself is thinking, okay, with all this applause, I'm going to earn another $1 million now. Even while begging. So like that, you can understand that that space is only due to knowledge, correct? Because he doesn't really think that he's a beggar. Even though he is doing the action of begging and all that, it's only a role, correct? The beggar is not there without the actor being there. But the actor is not the beggar. Is that clear? That is the inequality which Swamiji used to always point out. So, in fact, the actor he used to say is Bachchan and all that sometimes. Okay. Anyway, so what he used to say is B is A, but A is not B. Beggar is the actor, but actor is not a beggar. This is the important thing that comes only due to Jnanam, correct? Like that, Jnani is doing karma. And there is no, the karta is Atma actually, because there is no karta without the Atma being there, because Atma alone gives existence to everything. In its presence only everything is happening. Nobody is denying that. But Atma is not karta. That is the important piece of knowledge one should have. And that is what is reflected here in all the other verses also. If you see the same kind of a topic which Bhagavan will keep on hammering here. So next one is Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatripto nirashrayah karmanyabhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. So the jnani is what he has given up all attachment or sangam, correct, with all the karma phala. Okay. And he is nitya triptaha. What means what? Always contented. Like I already told you, Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha. Like this, Bhagavan already pointed out the same thing. One who is happy being himself in himself only, that means does not require anything externally, means always contented. Does not require any karma phala to be contented or happy, be happy. And nirashrayaha means what? Ashraya means some dependence, correct? Where that which supports you is the ashraya. But one who does not require any support, or it's one who is not dependent on anything. That is the real independence, correct? You are independent only when you are not dependent on anything for security or for even anything else, for your own happiness. For your security and happiness, you are not dependent on anything. That is the freedom. In fact, some of these things apply to karma yogi also. You have to understand that. But for the karma yogi, all these things are relative, because karma yogi also has a certain nitya vastu viveka is there, correct? Karma yogi also is not really interested in the karma phala, you can say. Means karma yogi also has no karma phala, asanga is not there for the karma yogi. But karma yogi also is mostly triptaha. But nitya triptaha you cannot say, but the tripti is only relative. The jnani's tripti is born out of the knowledge that I am not even a karta bhokta. Understand that? But karma yogi is still a karta. But even being a karta, there is a relative freedom is there for the karma yogi, because karma yogi is trying to get out of the spell of the ragadvesha. The more you are out of the spell of ragadvesha, tripti also will be there for you. Because you are not dependent on any particular result of action, correct? You have a certain equanimity towards that you are able to accept everything as prasada, means that is going to give you a certain tripti or a contentment in your life. But that is relative. But here for Jnani, it is absolute. That is the difference we have to understand. So the Jnani, even though Jnani is karmani, abhipravrittaha means what? He is completely he is in action. Okay, he is in lot of action. He is pursuing so many activities. Okay, but that doesn't mean anything. Even though the Jnani, because again, different Jnanis have different vrittis, correct? Some Mauni Babas are there, they are just sitting somewhere. Okay. In fact, if you want to become really famous and all that, Mauni Baba is best. You don't have to do anything. You sit somewhere, people assume so many things about you. You don't have to explain anything. Just because you are silent, they think you are great and all that, and you can still manage. That is one way, one vritti. You sit somewhere, that's it. The other is somebody is establishing many ashramas, having hundreds of shishyas, conducting so many classes every day and all that. And you think that this guy is doing so many things. But that is also jnani only. As long as you don't see yourself as a karta, it doesn't matter whether you are a Mauni Baba or you are doing all these activities. Correct? That's why Bhagavan here says, Karmani abhipravrittaha api. Even though somebody is pursuing so many different activities, completely immersed in activity, you can say, still what? Naiva kinchit karoti saha. That person does not do anything really. So again, the same thing. Beggar is not beggar actor thing only we have to bring here. So the actor is acting brilliantly as a beggar, but he is not a beggar. He is not really doing any begging. Okay, that is the thing here. Naiva kinchit karoti saha. Then the same thing continues. Nirashiryata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. So there can be a doubt. Okay, you are saying Jnani is not doing anything, even though he is doing something and all that. But if he does something, will he not get any papa? Will not any karma? Will the karma not accrue and all that? Again, Bhagavan says, Kurvan na apnoti tilbisham. Tilbisham means papam. So even though the Jnani is doing so many things, Jnani can never have any papa. Papa means punya also you have to include here. Understand that. Wherever only papa is said because papa is what people do not want really. But for a jnani, punya also is not going to be accrued because if punya accrues also it's a problem. It's like having a golden cage. That's all. Whether the cage is iron or gold, how does it matter? So basically, here when Bhagavan says, Na apnoti kilpisham, both papa and punya has to be understood here. And what again about Jnani he says, Nirashihi means Nirashihi means Jnani does not have any expectation or hope that some karma phala only has to make me happy and things like that. Correct? In one way, Jnani is a hopeless person, not in the negative way. But Jnani doesn't need to have any hope about anything, really speaking. Okay, Nirashihi. Yatachittatma, very interesting word. Okay. Chitta means, of course, it includes your entire antakarana. Sometimes when we talk about the antakarana, we talk about all this mano, buddhi, ahankara, chitta, ani, naham and all you have heard. Correct? We talk about four things. There is a mind. Mind means sankalpa, vikalpa, atmanaha, manaha, like that we say. Buddhi means nischayatmika buddhihi. Like this, there are different definitions are all there. Because mind means that which is given to thoughts and all that, correct? It is just thinking of one thing, another, like that. It keeps on going. That is the nature of mind. That which has emotions and thoughts are all mind. But that which cognizes something as this clearly is the intellect. The cognitive faculty is the intellect. Thinking faculty, ideating faculty is the mind. Then ahankara is the ego. I do, etc. The karta. And then there is memory, chitta. So sometimes the word chitta in a context will mean only memory. But here yata chitta atma means, here chitta means the entire antakarana, and atma here is not the paramatma or the atma, the Pratyagatma, the innermost self. But here Atma is used in this context in the sense of body also in many places. So here it is body. In the Yata Chittatma word, Atma is body. And Yata means Sanyataha, like that Bhashyakara says. Means Sanyataha means for whom both the body and mind are held together as one. Okay, means it is under one's mastery. For whom the body and mind are all under his or her mastery. That is the meaning of Yata Chittatma. For whom body, mind, senses, all of them we have to take. And they are all aligned also. Because whatever this person thinks and says and does and all, there is no conflict in that. And they are all in his mastery. That is the idea, Yata Chittatma. And Tyakta Sarva Parigraha means one who has given up everything, does not have any possessions. All the possessions one has given up means basically a sannyasi, you can say, or even if the person is a grihastha, we have to say this person is not interested in any possessions in itself. Okay, because again possessions can be a problem, in fact, really speaking. After a point, you can have a big house and all that, but then maintaining that becomes a problem. Many people do that nowadays, correct? Up to 40s or something, you want to live in some big house, big car, everything you want big. Then you become 50, 55 means, who will maintain all these bedrooms and bathrooms, and even if you have some servants, who will supervise all these people? That becomes a problem. Then you want to sell that off and move to some apartment or something, or retirement. Many people do that now. They go to some retirement home. You don't even want to cook because there they have some centralized kitchen. Then at that time, what will you do with all your belongings? That becomes a problem. You have sentimental attachment also. This was given by my grandmother. That is from my mother. This patu podave is from somebody. All these things are a problem. So you cannot get rid of that. So this is a problem. You want to hold on to possession, whether it is really useful or not, and all that. People want to carry all that. And they carry from one house to another to another. That happens. And you have a loft also in every house, so that you can put all these things. Once you move in, you won't see it again till the time you move to the other house. Okay. Like that, many things keep going from one place to another to another. This is the reality. I have also done that. Okay, so it's not that. So like that, we have certain things. But jnani means what? Does not care for any possession. It doesn't matter really. Okay. In fact, everything is my possession in one way. That is the vision of the jnani. If you are Sarva Bhutastham Atmanam, Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani, Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma, Sarvatra Samadarshanaha, like that. So Bhagavan is giving the vision of the jnani. Everything is yours only in one way. So you don't have to specifically own something or possess something. This ownership also is ego. Understand that. Ego is not only saying I am the doer, but this is mine if you say, that also is ego. In fact, that is subtler sometimes. So you have to be aware of the nature of ego. And for a jnani also, ego is there. It's not that ego has vanished. Without ego, nobody can do anything. Right? Jnani cannot teach also. But it is an enlightened ego. That's what we have to understand. Because there is a question, for whom does this knowledge take place? Because Atma or Brahman does not require any knowledge. It is as it is. From its standpoint, there is no problem. There is no srishti also. There is all ajaha. Means nothing is born. So Brahman does not require any knowledge. Mind by itself also does not require any knowledge. Correct? Mind, body and all, they don't care. It's all jada, we say. Then for whom is this knowledge? Means whoever says that I have a problem, only for that person only knowledge. In the 13th chapter, this question is asked. Who has ignorance? Who has knowledge and all that? Whoever says I have ignorance, that person has. That's how Bhashyakara answers that. Somewhat rhetorically he answers, but that is the truth. Because basically it is the ego only which feels that I am the doer and I am ignorant or I am knowledgeable. All these things are all centered on the ego. Therefore, the knowledge also is for the ego, because ego is the one which handles pramana also, correct? The perception, inference and all that is handled by the waking ego. Even in dream also, there is a dream ego which is handling all that. So ego is the one knower also. When you say aham karta, in that knowing also is included. Jnana kriya only it is. So ego is the one which is handling the pramana. But all other pramana, it does not do anything to the status of the ego, correct? Ego remains as it is with every other knowledge. You use a pramana, you gain some knowledge. Then you, in fact, the ego is strengthened that I am I am knower. No, I know this. That also becomes a certain ego, correct? I am a knowledgeable person, all that. But this knowledge is very different. This knowledge is like the alam, we say, correct? That is the analogy which is given. Alam means, you know that alam, correct? Patikaram and all we say in Tamil. So that is used to purify the water. Some people can say that is also an external agent only, correct? It is also like whatever impurity only. But the thing is, once you put that, what happens? It not only takes all the impurities down, it itself will settle down. So along with it, everything is gone. At least the water gets purified on top. Like that, this knowledge from the Veda, whatever the Veda Pramana is also giving rise to a certain knowledge. But what does this knowledge do? It basically negates the very reality of the ego itself. Because the ego gets its reality only by the I thought, the I, thinking that it is the real I alone, that is the reality of the ego. Because the ego also, I only, the ego only is referred to as I normally. Because of the identity of the Atma alone, ego has some reality. But what does this knowledge do? It shows that even that I thought is not intrinsic to you. Atma is independent of the I thought also. Atma is always there. It is just the conscious being. In fact, even there is in the Brihadaranyaka Bhashya, there is even an argument, why should you even call Atma as Atma? Is that word necessary or not? Because you say that Yato Vacho Nivartante Aprapya Manasataha means it is not the meaning of any one word. Then why are you using Atma Ityeva Upasita like that the Upanishad says? That is called Vidya Sutra in the Brihadaranyaka, and there is huge Bhashya there. In that discussion, the Purva Pakshi asked, why should you even use the word Atma? Then Bhashyakara says, yeah, that is correct. There is no necessity to use any word for Atma because Atma is self-revealing, correct? It doesn't require any word as it is to even know that. It doesn't require any pramana to know. Neither any word also is required to indicate it as such. The word is used only as a means of teaching again. Is that clear? Word Atma also is not necessary for Atma because Atma is there as it is. It is self-revealing, self-existent reality. It is a conscious being. It's not going anywhere. It is always there. That is the very nature of Atma. Ego is not like that. Ego has the sense of doership, ownership. All that is all ego. But the ego, once it is exposed to this teaching, that I shifts out of the ego means then ego becomes equally mithya. That is the only way the ego is destroyed. It doesn't mean that the ego itself is never there. The reality of the ego is no more there. It shifts. It goes out of that ego. There is no more reality to that. It is only like a shell afterwards. But that ego, still that enlightened ego has to be there. For a Jivan Mukta also, the enlightened ego has to be there. Otherwise, there cannot be any teaching. But even while teaching, the teacher knows that I am not teaching. Really, is that clear? That is the kind of understanding we have to have. So, Tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma is what Bhagavan says here. Means even jnani just does whatever karma which is required to maintain the body. Shariram kevalam karma. In fact, here I was reading the Bhashya. Bhashyakara takes an alternate meaning for this also. That is the greatness of his intellect anyway. So he says, you should not take this Shariram karma as only, we say that Kayikam, Vachikam, Manasam and all that, correct? So somebody can wrongly interpret this as only Kayikam karma does not produce any papa, correct? Immediately Bhagavan says, Kurvan na apnoti kilbisham. Shariram kevalam. Kevalam shariram means you can say only bodily action. Doing only bodily action, he does not get any papa. But if he does any vachikam or manasam karma, then he will get papa. It will become like that, correct? If you take the meaning restricted to the body, like that. So Bhashyakara brings this alternate interpretation, possibility of that alternate interpretation here, and then negates it, saying that is meaningless. It is not like that. It is that whatever karma is required to maintain this body, correct? That is the meaning in which Bhagavan is saying here. And again, even jnani also means maintaining the body means you can maintain it for in a healthy manner, correct? There is nothing wrong with that. Whatever is required, you have to eat food means you can eat, still you can eat healthy food. You can do some activities, exercise and all that. But it cannot become an obsession. Even health cannot become an obsession for a jnani. Understand that. Nothing should be an obsession. Even a healthy body has to die at the end of some years. But at least till the time you live, you can be healthy. That's not a problem. So, those things, and even if you don't know also, don't worry. With a very old body, you are not going to understand Vedanta anyway. It's better to give up that body and take another Janma, I think. At least you will have a new, fresh body to continue your Vedanta, Shravana and all that. Because Bhagavan has given you assurance, don't worry. So you will get Tatratam Buddhi Sanyogam Labate Paurvadehikam. So that should be the attitude towards the body. Body you maintain well, you are like a trustee, but do not obsess over anything. That also becomes a problem then. So, Shariram Kevalam Karma Kurvan na apnoti kilbisham. So, the jnani who is nirashihi yatachittatma tekta sarva parigraha, such a jnani, he does only whatever is to be done to maintain the body, and then he does not accrue any papa or punya, does not accrue to this jnani. Then further what? Yadrichhalabha santushtaha dvandvatito vimatsaraha samasiddhava cha dhritvapi na nipadhyate. So also this jnani is yadricha labha santushtaha. Means yadricha labha means what? Some gain. And jnani is very happy whatever he gains by chance, you can say, correct? Whatever comes his way, he is ready to accept. He is not complaining. Like in Tamil, they say, Dhanam kudutha mata, palla pudingi paathan, like that. So some people, even when they get something free or somebody comes and offers them something, then they are trying to find some fault in that. So it's not like that. Jnani is whatever he gets, he is happy. Whether even food also like that, whatever anything else also. Because Jnani does not have any expectation to start with, correct? With the least expectation, whatever comes, you are happy. Because everything is more than what you expected only. That is the attitude of Jnani. Yadricha labha santushtaha. Jnani is happy with gaining anything which comes by chance only. And dvandvatitaha. This part also again, it goes back to Titiksha. Jnani is able to, he transcends all the dvandvas, like Shita, Ushna, etc. Correct? So all these pairs of opposites, Jnani is Atitaha, means he has transcended because he doesn't have any identity with the body mind sense complex itself. Also, from a relative standpoint, Karma Yogi also has to be a Titikshavan, correct? You have to be able to bear things as they happen in the world. Everything will not be to your liking. That is there always. So whatever is there, you have to bear that. And Vimatsaraha also means does not. Matsara means what? Mada Matsaryam and all we say, correct? The Shad Ripu we say. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Matsarya is jealousy. Matsara also is jealousy. Vigata Matsaraha means one who does not have any jealousy. No, jealousy is the worst thing, I think. Because, of course, jealousy also is a product of Ragadvesha. Because if you have Ragadvesha, and particularly your Raga is not fulfilled, but that same Raga somebody else has got fulfilled means it's a problem. You see that and then you can feel jealousy. Psychology is basically comparing one with the other and all that. So that is a problem always. For normal people, jealousy can be there. But again, even for a karma yogi, the jealousy, the level of jealousy and all has to come down. Because once you are free from your likes and dislikes, jealousy cannot be there really. But for a jnani, of course, there is no question of having any jealousy or anything. Even all other of these things also cannot be there, correct? Because kama, krodha, already you said vitaraga, bhaya, krodha and all, or even previously we saw, correct? What? Kama sankalpa varjitaha is there. And somewhere we saw vitaraga, bhaya, krodha also, correct? Or he said, okay. Yeah, it was already there. So this kama, krodha, lobha also is greed. If you don't have raga, dvesha itself is not there, means greed is basically doing adharma for the sake of fulfilling your raga, dvesha. Then only it becomes greed. Greed also cannot be there. Then moha is delusion. Of course, delusion is because you think you are a karta. In fact, that is the first delusion anyway. So the moha also cannot be there. And mada is pride. Again, pride also is basically an indication of some smallness only, right? Most of the proud people are all actually having some kind of a complex underneath that, if you see. So they are trying to mask that by showing pride and all that. So pride also, once you are objective, there is nothing to be proud of anything because everything is Bhagavan's glory. What is there? You cannot be proud about anything really. Yes, in fact, we went to Arunachal Pradesh in 2001 or something, 2001, correct? Because we were, in those days, myself and Shri Vidya, we used to teach this Vedic heritage to all the children, not only children, but we used to conduct a lot of teachers' workshops. Then these Vivekananda Kendra schools are there in Arunachal Pradesh. And we were asked to go and conduct a teachers' workshop in Arunachal Pradesh. And it's a beautiful place. But in those days, we had to take some special permit and all that to enter Arunachal. Or even today it is there or not, I don't know. So you have to cross the Brahmaputra and go there. It's not an easy way. But we went there. The beauty there is there you see all this. There are many of these people there living there, correct? The native people. They do everything themselves. They are not dependent on anybody. They weave their own clothes. They build their own hut. They manage to find their own food, correct? Either they cultivate it or they whatever hunter gatherer kind of a life they have. So they can do everything for their survival by themselves. They don't depend on anybody. Then I was thinking, we are also, you live in the city, you can't do anything for yourself. In fact, for every small thing, you are dependent on somebody else. Many times you don't even know what kind of work has gone into whatever is being delivered to you at your doorstep, correct? Some of these things only you go to the village, when you cultivate your own rice, you know how difficult each grain of rice to produce also is not easy. Or even one drop of milk also, you go and sit there and try to milk the cow, you will know how difficult. You cannot even sit in that pasture. So we are all dependent on so many people for so many things. If you understand that, where is the question of any pride and all that? There's no, it's all completely interdependence is there anyway. We have to understand that. And so once you understand that, you can only have gratitude. You cannot have any pride, really speaking. So that is the thing. So here, Bhagavan says that he is Vimatsaraha and also Samas Siddhava Siddhaucha. This also again applies to Karma Yogi, but for Jnani it is absolute again. Means one who is not worried about success or failure. Whether it is Siddhi, he does something. Jnani also is involved in activity. And we saw that Jnani can be involved in setting up an ashram, setting up some institution. My own Guruji did so many things. Even internationally, he tried to do so many things like bringing the Hindus and Buddhists together and preservation of our religious diversity. He even did one Hindu-Jewish meeting and all that. He is the one who started that. So even when all these activities you are doing, but you are not in any tension or anything, or you are not really anxious about the success or failure of any of these initiatives. Understand that. Samas siddhava siddhaucha means whether something is successful or failure, you have the equanimity to take it as it comes. Okay. And so one who has all these attitudes, or one who has known these realities, what kritvapi na nibadhyate. Again, Bhagavan says the same thing. Even though this person does all these things, there is no bondage, there is no new karma or anything which is accumulating, or even while doing it also, even with reference to the Drishtapala also, there is no bondage or anything. There is no anxiety, or there is no any uh, sense of failure. All these things are not there for the jnani. The rest of the things we will continue in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.